I had to use some really strong garden Velcro stuff to kind of hold the bin together, and we can't move it. It is where it is. It is not moving because it will fall apart. But hi, I'm Danny, also known around here as the Soggy Boggy Witch.
Hello, good morning from my kitchen, the Witchin' kitchen, I guess. If you're wondering why I have greenhouses behind me, it's because I flooded my basement accidentally. Not because of the greenhouses, totally unrelated matter, but because the greenhouses were down there and actively growing things. We had to move them somewhere. So it's been a month and I want my basement back. Yeah, I'm not happy how long it's taking. So anyway, what are we doing today? I am going to talk to you about containers for gardening. Whether you are doing a container garden or you want to start seeds but you don't want to spend money on stuff to start them in. I have done videos about this before for the other channel I was on. If you're over there, thank you for following me. I actually did leave a video for them to publish. Letting everyone know I was doing this very cool diesel and they refused to publish. So if you're from there, thank you for following me. And if you're not here from there, then I'm just going to go over some information from there anyway. So containers, you don't have to spend a fortune on stuff. You don't have to spend a fortune on dirt either, but that's going to be a different video. So let me show you while I babble and get my herbs cleaned and put away a little bit about what containers you can use. It was a while ago that I did that video, so I'm going to try to go back and find footage and pictures to share with you. Because I don't think I have a whole lot of my things you already have at home containers right now growing stuff, but I probably have a few. So, okay, I'm babbling. I'm sorry. ADHD is very real. And fuck my mother for refusing to acknowledge that. This is more my ADHD. I hope she sees this. You are terrible parent. I wasn't an overly emotional, person. I was an autistic child. Trying to navigate a world that didn't recognize that. Yeah, okay, got the Anyway, let's talk about containers, shall we?
Okay, I will be using a stool because I am disabled, and it's okay to accommodate yourself, especially at home. So I'm just putting my herbs in my herb keepers while we chat. If you can manage to afford these, they go on sale all the time. I got these 3 for $10. If you can afford them, this is actually the best way I have found to keep herbs fresh. If you can construct your own version, go for it. For me personally, it was easier to spend the $10 this time, although I do a lot of DIY. So, okay, now that that's out of the way. What are we talking about today? Containers. Containers are a super necessary part of gardening, obviously. Like, where are you going to start your seeds? Indoors. And what are you going to put stuff in outside if you don't have a garden in the ground? A lot of people like to do container gardening. So what are some ways we can get containers without having to spend a bloody fortune? One of my favorite ways to do a container that is intentionally for starting seeds is to use yogurt cups, the little plastic ones. I tried it with the glass ones. It didn't work out the way I'd hoped. I couldn't put drain holes in them, and getting stuff out of them was a nightmare. Everything in my house right now is chaotic because I flooded my basement. So if you see a mess in the background, please don't judge. So what I do is I just turn it upside down. And I'm sorry, the camera's going to be a little shaky. And I stick a nail in like that. To make a few drainage holes. And then I could just put it in one of my trays, my bigger trays there. But I actually saved the lid for this one, so I can put it right there. And when I water it, any drainage will go on the lid. So that's a cheese container. And then I have a yogurt container. And I'm going to do likewise. This one will go in a tray because I didn't keep the lid. Now these do not water that well from the bottom. So unless you do like a lot of holes or a lot of really big holes, which I'm going to do with this one because it is going to get watered from the bottom. But just keep that in mind. Yeah, that's going to be getting watered from the bottom, so it needs lots of holes to pick up that water. We'll talk about water. You can get the really cheap black plastic cups that are super flimsy from places like Temu. The plastic ones are great though. Drill little holes in them for drainage and you can start stuff in there. I've started several things in those. Okay, so I've got my parsley, next my cilantro. Containers for starting seeds, strawberry trays, the bigger ones that where you get like half a pound of strawberries or something. I'm not good with remembering volumes, but they are already built with drainage in them, and they work really well with coconut coir instead of regular dirt, because regular dirt does tend to fall out a bit. You can put a thin layer of rocks in the bottom, and that can help keep your soil in and help with drainage, better drainage, especially if you're going to water from below. But yeah, strawberry containers are great for things that you can start a whole bunch of and then thin out as you go, and that are easy to pluck out when the time comes for transplanting. So I really like using, right now I have, of course, always save those sets if you're planning to garden and you get a few flowers each year. One of those, I'm experimenting, so we'll see how it goes. And let's see, what else do we use around here? We recycle pots that other plants. Pots, ask your neighbors, ask around town, like on Nextdoor or whatever your source of local community outreach is. Because those are really like the best thing, you know, they're going to be safe for your plants. And I feel safe using the yogurt containers, especially, and the strawberry containers, because they're literally made for food, so I don't worry they're going to be harmful to the plants that I grow in them. But that is something just to keep in mind. And moving on to larger containers, one of my favorite things in the world to use are Rubbermaid tubs that I'm not using for anything else. So, okay, I'm gonna pause for a second here. I need to go blow my nose, drink some tea. Okay. Alexa, pause. Alright, that break was a little longer than anticipated, but I got to spend time with my daughter for a bit, so that's always nice. Okay. I don't think I have any currently growing anything. Containers, yeah. So I might Rubbermaid pictures. I grew some sweet potatoes. I love them. In a bin. I'm going to go get pictures of all the ones I am going to be using. I also we had one of those rolling carts, and it was just falling apart. And over the years, we ended up with only one drawer. And it was just the stash all the spare Legos in here drawer in my son's room. So I ended up, when he cleaned it out and wanted to get rid of it, I don't like filling the landfill with plastic. As much as I can, I try to reuse things. So I painted it with outdoor paint that matches my front door and my bench and my garden cabinet. And I have green onions growing in there right now. Oh my God, it's cold. Okay. I'm gonna try to keep my microphone like inside of my hood because Jesus Christ, this wind came out of nowhere. Okay. Purple container with green Velcro keeping it closed. I actually was able to scoot it from the corner over here with my green onions and some new lettuces growing in. Getting watered by this thing. So this is my root vegetable bed, by the way. Having a lot of fun getting it going. Except this patch right here is driving me to insanity because my sprinklers just won't get it, no matter what I do. So that's a different video for a different day. Okay. Now. Okay, so it's not pretty over here. We have a lot to clean up. But these are the tubs that I'm going to be using to grow probably mostly tomatoes, greens, and peppers. I've been putting compostables in them, and now I'm starting to slowly cover them with dirt and yeah, so make sure that if you use stuff like this, you drill holes in the bottom. Trust me. It rained earlier, and they're not all flooded and gross. Always make sure it has drainage. Alright, so those are the tubs. So those are some container ideas. You can go to thrift stores, and anything that looks like it can hold plants, holds dirt, and that you can put drainage in, use it. You know, there are no rules in gardening. There really aren't. Gardening is one giant experiment. So use what you find. I have started plants in the bottoms of milk cartons. People do this cool thing where they basically create mini greenhouses and sow seeds in milk cartons that have been split in half. I'll put some pictures in here, and put the top back on, seal it basically at the top after it's got water in it, and it works like a hothouse. And come spring, they take the lid off the milk carton and there are fresh plants growing. So very cool. Trying to think, and my brain just went blank. But yeah, basically if you can put drill holes in it and it'll hold dirt and give you some depth. You know, when you're starting seeds, you don't need a whole lot of depth, but for bigger plants, obviously, depending on the kind of plant, you're going to want some depth. So you don't want to be growing carrots in a milk carton, okay? But you can grow carrots in a Rubbermaid bin. So those are some ideas for containers. Join me next time when we talk about dirt and how you can obtain growing medium for your garden. Okay, happy gardening. You're a dillweed. No, you're a dillweed. No, you. No, you. No, you're a dillweed. I'm such an adult.